Welcome to the Stanley Street Social daily unpack of what was the Giro, but now it is the Giro and the Vuelta. The Vuelta kicked off last night, stage one, and it didn't disappoint. What do you want to go with first, Cambo?
Your call. You're the host. I'll follow suit.
Maybe Vuelta. We'll go with the Vuelta to kick things off. We pretty much saw a GC showdown. Well, we did see a GC showdown. It definitely didn't disappoint. It was wet. And the boys went all out on that final climb.
Yeah. Well, we tipped Roglic as the favourite, but we probably didn't expect it to be so selective. So the Roglic, Carapaz, Martin, Chavez, Grosnata, and Mas. And I guess Carthy as well. And then that's pretty much it. Sepp Kuss at 10. And you could almost argue that the winner of the Vuelta is going to come out of that front six.
Top five, yeah. 6, yeah, including Mas.
Maybe. There's a lot of guys that missed out, like Valverde, probably not a genuine contender, but Tommy D. But besides that, I don't see anyone else coming from outside of that group.
Yeah. Tommy D was missed out. Gil Martin missed out.
Tier 2.
Marc Soler,
realistically.
Tier 2. It just eliminated a few questions that we had. Like, is Froome any good? Wout Poels, where's he at? Dan Martin, where's he at? There was a lot of questions floating around. Who are Ineos riding for? Is Primoz going to back up? That wasn't really a question, but
everything
was
pretty much got answered, didn't it?
Yeah. Is it almost too soon?
It was quite binary, the answers to questions.
Well, it was a no-nonsense stage. There was no massive breakaway. There was no filthy run-in. The finish was a bit wild, but it was pretty much you race to the top of the climb. Here's your Cat 1. It's 5K. There's lots of people in the mix. It's not a wild mountain stage. It's not short and punchy. It's 5K. It's a Cat 1. Here's your finish line. Go to the top. And the cream rose to the top.
It did, big time. And just something on Roglic. What a man. Imagine how cut up he would have been after the tour. It would have been so easy to just, feed up for the rest of the year. I'll come to the Vuelta, help someone, or straight back into it, straight into the thick of it, wins the stage. And I think now, he's if he wasn't the favourite before, he's probably the hot favourite now. And the team was super again. All the boys look like they've just got over the tour, and they're all flying. Your boy, Kuss, you talked about the possibility of maybe him having a dip on the last climb. He did, but he was closed down, and then it was to work for him. And Primoz timed his attack perfectly, because that downhill finish, we've seen it a couple of times in the Vuelta. I didn't know it was this one, but if you're in the front with 800 meters to go, you're probably going to win.
Yeah. Also, I don't know, Roglic. Guys like Roglic, at our kind of, for me to a sense, it feels like they don't really do the tour justice in a sense. Whereas you got guys like Geraint and, well, maybe the Brits, maybe it's a Brit thing. Geraint and Bradley Wiggins, and you see them come out of the tour and they're like, we're just getting on the gas for 2 months. I can't do anything else. Brad couldn't even ride another tour. But I like
just the regime that they go through.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's so hard, and guys like Roglic kind of ruin it because he just backs up and he just does the Giro, does the Vuelta, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, he didn't win, but he pretty much had the stress of the entire Tour de France, except for the one stage that he wanted it. And but yeah, I just find it amazing how he can come here after being absolutely demoralised at the tour and just bounced back and he's winning stages again.
Yeah, and just not him. Sepp Kuss is on the level.
Yeah.
George Bennett, and Gesink were all super. Comment here. Thoughts on Campbell's selection, Pino? That was actually you. I didn't go anywhere
That was
near
actually me.
Debo. Just quietly on my selections, they're looking very good off the top. Mas,
Yeah.
Carapaz, and Roglic all there in the front.
I lost out a little bit last night. I think we all went. Didn't we all go Primoz for the win?
I think so. I think we all did.
And then
But the podium
I
was
went.
different.
I went to Max's comment. I went Pino second, which is
Whoops.
where do you even finish?
I think he was about 9
63rd,
minutes.
10 minutes down.
But yes, thanks, Max, for bringing
then-
that up and throwing Alex under.
And then I also picked Tommy D to finish third on the podium, which I'm still on that.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yes,
That's okay.
He
It's
lost
under a
time.
minute.
That's okay. But it's not like saying, well, I don't think anyone put Esteban Chavez in the mix.
Well, Rupert Guinness did.
Rupert Guinness did. Yeah, that is true.
He was
That is
talking
true.
about it, and we were having a little bit of a giggle, and Max was talking about it could be a good opportunity for another doco, which we both enjoyed. But he was looking
And here
really
it is.
sharp. He was looking really sharp, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. And I was pretty bearish about Michael Woods.
Well, we crashed. There was a big crash that he was involved in.
Oh, did he? Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. So that's the reason why he wasn't at all in that finale. I'm not too sure of the extent of his injuries, but I think he came in. What did he come in at? Yeah, he came in at 18 minutes. So clearly, something was wrong there. Obviously, wasn't good after the crash.
But
so
in other EF news, Hugh Carthy, he was pretty impressive. The only one really to get a move in over the top of the final climb.
Yeah, well, you could almost argue that this is his home tour. He was on Caja Rural for a few years, so enjoys the Spanish roads, and he was looking super coming off the back of the Tour de France, where he wasn't in super nick at the back of the bunch a lot of the time. So got those Ks in the legs, and he's looking really good.
Yeah. Max, Tommy D won't even finish top 5 at Jumbo. It's pretty hot, the Jumbo Cup, to be fair.
Yeah.
Who did Max have as second and third?
I've got it written down here. He had Vlasov, and then he split David Gadu and Guillaume Martin for third.
Yeah, Vlasov at 4 minutes 30, not overly impressive.
He got dropped quite early, and Guillaume came in at 108, and David Gadu 222. But to be fair, Alex, that's split up a lot more than I thought. I think probably more than anyone thought. Maybe just the first day jitters. People like to maybe warm up into a Grand Tour. Bang, straight in. No kissing here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think it's something that organisers might look towards going forward, or do you think this is just a 2020 throw it in there because we can, because no one cares?
Yeah, and obviously there's a lot of restrictions around where I imagine there's a lot of challenges around where they can race, what towns they can go to, all that kind of stuff, how they can fit it in. But normally, I would say if you're a race organizer and you're looking at this, you'd go, I don't want this off the bat.
Yeah.
You want a sprint stage, you want a punchy finish, or you want a time trial. Because not that the GC's decided, but it's kind of there's a nice build up to, like, for example, the Giro, Etna. It was like, all right, we've got our first showdown. Here it is. There was a nice hype around it. Whereas,
but even for me, that was too early. I prefer maybe stage 7 or stage 8, the sort of what I remember of the Tour de France around 2010 when I started to really enjoy cycling. It always felt like it was just a few days before the first rest day. There was the first big showdown, and there was 5 sprints in the first 5 days. Just gives people a bit of time to warm up, because, like you said, the GC, it's not done, but a lot of people's GC is done.
Yeah.
So,
and you've got a real good gauge that a real good gauge of where people are at. I I can get this up on screen. There we go. $51 for the stage.
To be fair, Max, he did raise Grossschartner as a name. He actually talked about it in the pod. If you want to go have a look at it yesterday, talking about him as their best climber for Bora. So he's got an eye for the sneaky ones. Does Max?
Man, well, he was one of the select few that that made it to the top. Anything else on the Vuelta? Froome, good touch on Froome.
Very disappointing. Got dropped before the last climb. I thought maybe he could have given the boys a little chop out, come to the front and give something. He was just dangling 3 meters off the back of the bunch. So, like we said earlier, questions were answered pretty clearly. I'm not sure why he was given the squad jersey number 1. Maybe that was just a little bit of theatre, just a bit of bluff. Maybe, I don't know why. Clearly, it's all for Carapaz now. Yeah, but it's all for next year for Froome.
And to be fair to Carapaz, he was good last night, hunting down Sepp Kuss when he was moving.
Well, he was good at the Tour, but especially in that third week, he had some really good legs in that third week. So he's obviously built a little bit more, and he's won a Grand Tour before. He's won a Giro, so I don't mind him on the podium for mine.
How would you? I don't even know who the Israel Cycling Academy boss is. How would you feel as that person heading into next year? You've signed Froome for circa €5 million. I don't know what he costs. It must cost an absolute fortune.
No, he would have had to take a big time pay
cut. Doesn't Sagan get paid 6?
Well, I think so. Sagan is somewhere around there, maybe a little bit less.
It's Chris Froome.
Yeah, but obviously super champion of the sport, 3-time winner of the Tour de France. Since that crash at the Dauphiné last year, or even a little bit before that, he wasn't quite the same rider, and it just seems like a bit of a big gamble going all in on what is he going to be, 36 next year-ish? Especially when there's this new crop of 21-year-old, 22-year-olds just tearing things up. It seems like a little bit of a risk for me.
What would you paid him?
Well, What's he worth? Getting paid. I don't know what he was getting paid at Sky.
He was getting paid €5 million at Sky. Euro.
You'd be chopping that in half, I reckon.
2.5 is what he's worth.
Maximum.
Obviously,
there's a lot of value there still with the name attached, isn't there?
Oh, we're talking about it.
But yeah, Israel taking a big pay cut.
Just one question that we got on the YouTube too. Felt from Josh B. Felt like we fast forwarded through the first 2 weeks of the Vuelta with how many GC guys have already been dropped. That is on the money. That's like we're talking about.
We talked a little bit about that. Yeah.
Meanwhile,
just something maybe we'll just add quickly as well. Alex, our Smokey for the stage, Rob Power, didn't quite have it.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed.
There's plenty more opportunities, though. For them,
there is plenty more opportunities.
Yeah.
Only 17 to go, though. And you're going to say not all 17 are opportunities? I think this is like quite a nice transition, actually, over to the Giro. I think that was one of the really impressive things about Ben O'Connor when we caught up with him. It was like, all right, I've just gone up Etna. I had an absolute shocker. Mentally wasn't there, stressed, but I was confident I had good legs. Let's sit down, regroup. Here's my stages I'm going to target. I'm going to ride Gruppetto for the first week. I'm going to go way under my threshold on all the climbs. I'm going to creep up these bergs with sprinters. But there is these days where I'm going to put myself in the move that I can win from. And last night was one of those days.
But it hasn't all been soft pedaling. He's been quite active helping Domenico Pozzovivo as well in between.
Yeah. He had a few days when Domenico got real interested in the GC.
He
Anyway,
sniffed it out
onto
last
the
night, didn't he? 20
onto the
odd
Giro.
riders went up the road.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a lot of bike riders.
it's a lot of riders, and clearly no one was interested in the back. A lot of teams with multiple riders in the front. I think AG2R had 3. Did they have a lot of bodies in there? Didn't quite get anyone in the
Yeah.
final move, but yeah, the Australian Ben O'Connor, he was super, and just looked like he snatched at it a little bit. And the 30-year-old Slovenian Jan Trent kid? Tratnik.
Tratnik.
He was pretty cold blooded. I thought he was very, very composed.
He rode like a 30-year-old.
He rode like a 30.
And
the turns he was doing, he wasn't even on the pedals. He was just rolling through, just a warm body on the front. 200 watts turnover, and you could see when Ben was coming through, it looked like he was on the pedals a little bit worried about Swift and Enrico Battaglin coming back. They were probably never coming back, but I guess when you're in the front, there's a chance to win. I guess you can panic a little bit, and that's what it looked like. What happened with Ben?
Yeah, well, he's also riding for a contract. He's riding for his career.
Oh, there's a lot on the line, and
there's a lot on the line here.
Yeah,
he's
24 when you're in a situation
well.
like that, your head can go. You just you forget to think. And I'm sure anyone that's been in a bike race, when you're pinned on the limit, the last thing you're really thinking about is tactics. You just want to get to the finish and just try and have a sprint. But I think if he had his time again, he would have done things differently. But what we can talk about is his climb to bridge across to Tratnik was redonk.
Yeah, he was on. Big star. Yeah, all class.
Because I saw the results. I saw the results this morning, and then I was watching the replay this afternoon. I think I watched the last 40 odd K, and I saw the group was at like 40 odd seconds, and I'm just thinking, when on earth does Ben O'Connor get across here just by himself? And then wasn't really like he put in a big attack on the climb. It was just tempo. It was just diesel, and it almost would have been better if he had maybe a 50-second deficit still on Tratnik over the top, because as soon as he went over the top, he went straight over the top and started pulling. And as soon as he did that, Tratnik knew that this guy's super keen to keep pressing on. I'll do as little as possible and dump him at the finish.
Yeah, even on that final climb, Tratnik just looked like he was cruising, whereas Ben O'Connor was moving. He was on. But for Ben O'Connor, same time, really disappointing. I think he'd be disappointed in his finish.
Oh, you could tell at the finish line, he smashed his bars twice. He was fuming.
He rode into the climb. He was riding harder, like we've talked about. And I just wish he had the opportunity to actually attack. I don't know if he was just too confident that he was just going to ride him off the wheel. Obviously, he was the better climber.
Yeah.
But Tratnik played it very, very well tactically.
But in terms of this being something to show to teams for next year, I think it's as good as a win. No, I know it doesn't go on the Palmares as a stage win, but anyone that was watching that stage was like, that guy is super strong. What are we on, day 16 of the Giro?
Yeah,
for me, that was very impressive. And any owner or DS or manager, whoever runs the books, whoever runs the list, I think they'd be pretty interested in getting him on, not just from that ride, but what we talked about earlier. His help for Domenico, hunted out a couple of stages before that, so he'll be disappointed. But I think he's done a very, very good ride.
If you're his agent, you'd be clipping that file, especially that climb. His last 2 days' work for Pozzovivo, and just sending a nice little package to every squad on the planet.
Video resume.
Look at what this boy can do. Just take all the fines from Eurosport for stealing their content. You will get this footage in front of people. And as Andrew points out on YouTube, close for NTT too. Not just Ben O'Connor's looking for a job. NTT's looking to survive.
Yeah. Yep. they've been a lot better at this Giro than the Tour. We were hard on them at the Tour de France, I think, fairly.
Yeah.
But this Giro, Domenico's been good. They've been looking to, they've been riding the front, hunting out stages, getting the right moves. So, is there another chance? I don't know whether the next two big mountain stages.
The way he was climbing, like the way he was moving on that final climb.
He gets some big confidence out of that as well.
Yeah.
And he'd be pissed off.
So. Yeah. Yeah,
Nothing
a little
better
bit of
than riding on
anger. Big confidence in his climbing condition. Some big stages. Quick step up. Clearly not interested in all in for the GC. I think so. Also, how good's Almeida?
Yeah, I think we talked a little bit about it last night. This stage would suit him, the kind of a little bit more punchy climbs, and he didn't get any time bonuses as such, but he gapped the rest of the GC boys and took a couple of seconds, which all add up. But yeah, I think he's going to come unstuck on the proper mountain passes.
I just love I just love the confidence though. Like he's just talking in his post-race interview. Like, yeah, I was feeling good, so I just went on the attack. Okay. Didn't have any. Used up all his teammates for posse throughout the stage, and just went on the move. The pink jersey just goes down, and he's got all these competitors weren't scrambling, but they certainly weren't front and center, ready to
He's
hunt him down
for like 14 stages.
Yeah, a 22-year-old first Grand Tour.
That's crazy.
That's so good. Imagine the value of his contract pre and post Giro.
Mm-hmm. All reports, Patrick, he doesn't like paying his riders big contracts, but there's some nice bonuses tied in. So something in that, bit of incentive for riders to get results, and they get plenty of them.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, you go to that squad and it just breathes victory. Yeah. Suck in the oxygen there, and all of a sudden you're just flying. So much team morale, so much team strategy, tactics. They just roll out victories. Anything else, Campbell, before we wrap it up?
Well, I guess we're going to look at this evening's tappers.
Yep. That is the Unpack done. It's time for the preview. It's down the Giro.
Sure.
Showtime. Cat 1. Cat 1. Cat 3. Cat 1. 204 Ks. You got 3, I got 4.
I got 3.
A long way.
Same.
A long way. And a lot of climbing. This is going to be a long day.
Is it just me, or is this like the first proper mountain day?
Well, it's the first multiple mountain day.
Yeah.
Like big climbs back to back to back. And there's even a Cat 3 in there, which I think is 10K, which is still significant.
Yeah. There's very little today.
We've been talking about these days for a long time.
And I'm sure all the riders have been as well.
Yeah.
Some in different tones than others.
And Yates has kind of set a precedent when he lost the jersey late in the Giro, just showing how pear-shaped this thing can go.
It's going to go pear-shaped for people tonight. You think? I know the last climb. The last climb's not super tricky on paper, but it drags for a long time up the valley, and then the last climb itself is 9.5k at 6.7, which is still still a proper climb at the end of a 200k day, with the first two big ones like 20k at 6.7 and 20k at 6.6. Are we going to see anyone roll the dice early on one of those
Astana.
two? But with who? Like, if Vlasov and Superman were there to maybe try and do something, but just looking at their list, I don't know.
I don't think tonight. I think tonight is, as we've talked about, it's the first mountain day, big mountains, and guys will be looking for that final climb. I think it's not like, I think everyone that's around the mark, that's within striking range, will be thinking, I'm going to show myself on that final climb. Tomorrow though, when people lose more time tonight, that's when it's like, all right, Hail Mary, I've got nothing else. It's now or never.
When is this race going to come to head? Because we've been saying this for ages. No, like later, like, after the TT 16,
tonight, tomorrow
tomorrow.
night. I'm saying tonight it's going to be a genuine showdown. People are going to lose time, but it's on the last climb. I'm saying tomorrow night is when we'll see people going wild if they lose another 3 or 4 minutes. Full saying's at 5 minutes.
I to be honest, I'm joking around. I probably agree. I think tomorrow, the Stelvio, a little bit of valley, and then a climb to the finish probably suits like a long ranger a little bit more, because you can probably you don't need any teammates. If you go on the Stelvio, you can go to the finish. But I think also stage 20, if you want to look a little bit further down the line, that's probably even better. That's probably
it's not going to be till stage 20 now.
Well, I mean, really, you could. If you look at stage 20, that's the one. That's the real one to go on a raid up the Col d'Angel into the Izoard, and then finishing in Sestrier. Like, that's money if you've got it. But who wants to wait that long? Hopefully no one. Hopefully we see something tonight.
And if you want to wait a bit longer, there's also stage 21 TT.
You know what would be good? If we just got absolutely ripping crosswinds on the 258k day. Which I mean, it's up in near Milan, and never seems to be windy in Milan. So
they've never had wind. The wind has not arrived there ever.
The wind is zero.
Yeah, the wind is zero. You know who that'd be good for? It'd be good for Jai Hindley, the biggest hustler in the race.
Yeah. Doesn't miss a split.
Doesn't miss a beat, that guy.
All right. Who's going to win tonight?
Do you think it's a breakaway day?
Think so.
You think so?
I think so.
There's no one that's going to... There's just no one that's... It's not in anyone's interest to ride the whole day to keep a break intact.
Yeah. Well, Sunweb... It seemed like Sunweb rode a fair bit the other day, but I reckon they're confident of offloading Joao at some point over the run-in. So it might not have to be tonight. I think they're probably happy to wait. But it's going to be breakaway. Probably a big one again, you'd think.
You think you can see 15 to 20 guys up the road.
Yeah.
Which I like. A race within a race. 2 for the price of 1.
Hopefully.
Who do we like from the breakaway?
I don't know.
You always look to E. I always look to EF as my default.
Yeah.
NTT second behind that. Well, not so much with Domenico, but
Fabro got in it last night. He wasn't.
yeah,
Missed it.
he wasn't
I've been
super.
I've
You've
been
been
talking
on
about
him
him
big
for a
style.
while. I have, but you go first for a change.
Thanks. Adam Sims backing your boy in.
Fabro.
Having never done a Grand Tour and never been in the breakaway on stage 16, I imagine it's pretty tough to do it again.
Do you think Ben might try another day?
I think
18 or 20.
I'm holding my punt for Ben back, but I've yielded a lot of confidence from last night. What are the bookies saying?
Talk amongst yourselves.
While I fumble my way through this pro cycling stats list, trying to make some kind of educated punt on.
Teo's the favourite
From the best climber in the race.
From the GC boys, and then you like this. Zakarin is at 850.
Yeah. Has Zakarin lost enough time yet, or is he still sitting on the GC?
I think he's at 20 odd.
He's
30
minutes. 30 minutes. If you were quick step, would you let Zakarin in the move?
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
Guerrero was in the move too last night. CCC to claim their maiden victory. Oh, I just don't know. I backed him in the other day, but he's been rubbish ever since. Van Hook, Harm from Lotto Soudal.
Yes, young legs.
Young legs. They might come back. Hit the right move. Harm, he's my man.
You going in for him?
Yeah, I'm backing him in again, and if he doesn't perform, we're parting ways.
Okay. This is actually a raffle. Pick a name, any name.
Thomas de Ghent from Adam on YouTube. Don't mind that.
I like it. No, it's a name. It's a name. It's any name.
He's taking a punt.
Yeah. I'm gonna go for movie. I'm gonna go for movie star Carretero. I'm gonna go Carretero from movie star.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I don't mind that. You just wait till we get to the Vuelta. It's even better. Have you seen the parkour?
We just got so bogged down on that.
Have you seen the parkour for the?
Yeah, I have.
Seen the parkour?
Yeah.
Another cat one, 2 cat 3s into a cat 1, downhill run to the finish, like actual
50K as well.
Yeah, kudos to the organisers.
Yeah,
kudos to the organisers. Although it's starting real late. For Australian viewers, last night I was looking at it. The Giro was on. There was maybe a couple of hours to go, and the Vuelta had just started. True Spanish fashion.
3 o'clock start. nuts.
So we're not gonna be watching any stages. 134 Ks. The last Cat 1 tops out, and that Cat 1 is 9.5 K at 8%, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've just got a downhill run to the finish, descent. Could we see the same group that we saw last night?
Possibly. Do you reckon? Yeah. Do you reckon Jumbo were just wanting to just nail as many people as possible, as quickly as possible?
Yeah. Well, the
Roglic
way,
is good now. Let's just do damage while we
yeah,
can. Do it quick.
Roglic to go B to B.
I think it's possible because he's
I think it's
quite quick,
possible.
as we've found out in a group of
We probably
climbers.
didn't give him enough credit for last night. He actually won the stage off a little bit of race nous and pure strength.
Yeah.
But it wasn't a given. It wasn't like, here you go, here's the race win. We'll finish at the top of the climb. He still had to win.
I would say Dan Martin, but given his performance at the Tour de France, where he's in that break and then he just got absolutely popped on the downhill of one of the stages, where I don't know about that descent into the finish. Probably going to be boring, but I think Primoz to go back to back.
You want someone like Julian to go attack with 1K to go on the climb and just go wild on the downhill.
Who's there?
But
of that mold?
I can't. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Who's going to go wild on that downhill? I have a funny feeling. I just have a feeling that we're just going to see what we saw last night, just with more of a downhill and one of those semi-awkward sprinters, climbers sprinting for the line.
Let's go with Gross Schartner. Climbed really well. He's Austrian. They always seem to be good at going downhill, probably from doing downhill skiing as a child. They all seem to be good on the downhill. So I'm going to go with Felix from Bora.
I'm going to go with Hugh Carthy. The way he was going up that climb last night showed lots of intent, riding a little bit off confidence, willing, maybe a little bit high appetite of risk for some of the other boys. Purely off his youth.
Strike me as someone that thrives off of risk.
Yeah, well, tonight he will. Yeah.
Right. Let's go.
He's my man. Yeah, I think that's the. Yeah. I think that's all. Adam Sims will Roglic be the UCI rider at the end of the year. I assume that means like most amount of points.
There used to be a jersey for that back in the day, like the leader of like the UCI points something. It's obviously not a thing anymore.
Yeah, I'm pleased it's not.
Value there is attached to it.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how many points you get for winning the Vuelta. He's 330 points behind Pog. Yeah, sure.
It's a weird thing about cycling. There's not many sports where you can't measure like the best or the most valuable, or it's pretty much just the guy that wins the Tour.
Yeah. That's what people
you
really
win the Tour.
care about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think if Adam says he's 330 behind, assuming he'll win the Vuelta. If that gets him 330, he'll win the UCI points jersey thing. Yeah. The only other thing that I had on my list that we didn't touch on, sorry, just to extend this a bit longer. Gaviri's gone pause again.
Yes.
What?
Yeah.
He's gone back to back. He's had the virus, had the Rona. He was like, Go on.
Well, there's only been a handful of cases, as in people backing up. There was this thought that it was immunity once you had it.
Yeah.
Which is worrying now. But he was one of the first, wasn't he? He was like the case zero in the cycling
market
world.
leader. He was
Fuck us,
stuck
Lee.
in that. Yeah, he was stuck in that UAE hotel early days.
But again, it just
When
seems
we
a bit
all
odd that there's only been one more rider.
Anyway, we've me and you, Campbell, have made a pact to find someone that actually knows what they're talking about in the medical
Yeah.
space for the daily unpack this week. So hopefully, no, we will. 5:30, one day this week, we'll have someone with some medical knowledge. 100% more negative medical knowledge than we have combined.
Yes.
Awesome. I think that's it.
Cool. See you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. Really appreciate your questions. And we'll see you back here tomorrow at 5:30.